Welcome back to another edition of the Still Saved Show. Where we
If
break
you say
down.
legend, I'm going to hurt you. But go.
Like legend is low key, respectfully, a good way of saying you old.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If the beard didn't already say it, Rob.
Yeah. Methuselah. Right.
Dog, he interrupted my intro.
Go ahead.
Like,
go ahead.
dog, can I do it one more time?
Let me back up. I'm back up.
If y'all don't already know what we do while we here and what we do, we break down the breakthrough.
Okay.
With some of the coolest people on the planet. Who have some of the dopest stories of change and transformation. And dog, boy, do I know you got some stories for us today. Because if anything, we're going to talk about the DJ. We're going to talk about the radio. We're going to talk about all the cool things you've done. But bro, you have some of the most dopest stories I have ever heard. You're like that uncle at the family reunion that got the stories, right?
Less the slides. Yeah.
Yes.
Minus the...
But one thing before we get into it that I admire is I hardly ever hear you recycle the same stories. You know what I'm saying? We've been rocking together for some years.
Yeah.
And I've observed, even before I met you, I used to observe you. I was inspired by your work as a DJ. Used to try to mimic your mixes. But over the years, I have rarely ever heard you share the same story twice, bro.
Can't tell the people around me, my kids that they're like, again, here we go. But yeah, all right.
That one time me and Beyonce.
Yeah, like, So I'm DJing for Rakim, right? And okay, we get it. Yeah.
Here we go.
Hold
on, but I ain't heard that one yet.
You haven't?
Nah.
What? That's crazy how that one happened. But
listen, guys, I have to tell y'all, man, Rob G, the general, the OG here in the city of Houston in terms of DJ culture. Yes, I know when you think of DJs in Houston, you think of DJ Screw, Michael 5,000 Watts, but you are definitely in that number.
Wow. Wow.
And that's not just me, bro.
I appreciate that, man. It's just a trip when people see you a certain way that you don't see yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I still think of myself as the rookie. Like, I'm behind the Watts and the Screws and the Walter D's and the RP Colas and the Ags and Blasters and the Steve Nice and the GTs. Yeah. They're before me. That's how I look at them. And so, to be mentioned in that same conversation, that same breath, I appreciate it. Because like I say, there's still in me a part that was like, you got to catch up.
Yeah.
You got to catch up. These dudes been doing it, and they got a head start. You got to catch up.
Man, the catch up, though, I think is what keeps us going.
Yeah.
There's always something. We definitely learn to, like, be in the moment, right? As dads and as people who enjoy this life that we get the privilege of living. But it's something about that catch up that propels you, that pulls you.
Yeah.
It's different than when you being chased.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you got somebody that inspires you, man, I'll look at DJ Jazzy Jeff on Instagram and he'll do something dope, and I'm like, oh, that's it. It's time to go practice.
Yep. Still gotta keep it fresh. Gotta keep the chops right.
Yeah.
It can be monotonous, but I do remember I kind of hinted to this. I remember when I got my first set of techniques. Growing up here in the city, listening to 97.9 The Box and hearing you on the radio. You were one of the guys here in the city, right? Because of course, I looked up to the Jazzy Jeffs and all of them as well. But in the city, I would listen to the radio and I would try to mimic your mixes. Like, no lie, especially like your New Orleans bounce mixes, dog. Like, I always knew when I heard like Back That Thing Come On, I was like, all right, bet we gonna get it ready after that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's coming.
And there was gonna be some sort of Boosie in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you always killed the like 504 New Orleans mixes. And I used to sit there trying to mimic those and to get better and to like try to copy your scratches.
That's
you know what I'm saying? So
all right, funny story about how those come about. Or when you say like the 504 days and stuff like that.
Yep.
Every morning, Hatta would have me come up with or try to be like, all right, so what we doing in the mix today? Yeah. And it would put some kind of pressure on me, like, like where it was like, man, why can't I just go in there and mix? It's like it had to be something. And so on this particular day, it was May 4th. And so
the day before my birthday.
It was word.
Yeah, come on, Cinco de Mayo.
All right,
let's go.
so May 4th is my sister's birthday, and then you got the Star Wars. The May the 4th be with you, but it was May the 4th, so I was like 504. Hey, we're doing a bounce mix. We're gonna represent for New Orleans, and then that they morphed into 713 Day.
Yep.
Which ended up doing that and just coming up with different ideas of. One of the things we always said was yeah, you can get in there and you can just go mix. But when you put something on it, a different title on it, people listen differently.
Yeah, yeah.
They put it different, and he says like putting. I hate to be crass, but he's like it's putting new pumps on an old hoe.
Yeah. Listen, that's
all
why I
you doing.
knew I was gonna get them sayings, dog. I knew they was gonna squeeze in here at some point or another. We still saved though.
Yeah,
Like, at the end of the day, we still saved, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Still saved. But that's all it was. You know, when you put a little, especially radio wise, and even
sure.
in radio, and even when I do weddings or birthdays, you know, if you put a little title on it to give it a little bit of anticipation, they're like, all right, well, about to mix the 10 best breakup songs. Well, now if I just did a songs and all these songs are just sad all of a sudden, it's like, man, why they, trying to make me sad all of a sudden?
Yeah.
But if I say the 10 best breakup songs, well, let me see what's going to be next.
Even if you ain't going through a breakup, and
Even
make
if
you
you're
think about a breakup.
But you're
that
thinking about it. You want, and because the whole key with radio has taught to us by Terri Thomas, number one program, was working in quarter hours, and that means get them to listen 15 minutes, and can you swing them to the next 15 minutes, and can you get them to swing to the next 15 after that, and the next 15 after that, and keep them coming. Yep. So, so coming up with little stuff like that. What was the other one? When I Ruled the World mix, the Sample Tuesday mixes,
Bro, them Sample Tuesday joints are so dope because you are able to take current songs that we don't even realize sometimes have a sample.
Yeah.
And then you remember when.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Those are some of my favorites, bro. What are some of your favorite samples?
My favorite sample, probably one of my favorite ones, I was talking to Mannie Fresh and the song Bling Bling.
Hold on. I was just talking to Mannie Fresh, just casually the other day, me and Mannie.
I was talking to Mannie. So the song Bling Bling.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Do you know what sample that came from?
I don't, bro. I'm kind of embarrassed to say that I don't.
Don't worry.
One of my favorite records, too.
It's Space is the Place by the Johnson Crew.
I'm about to go check that out.
Go check it out on your own time. You can insert that right there. But yeah, it's Space is the Place by the Johnson. And it is one of those ones didn't even see coming. That's one of my favorite ones right there. You
actually read the back of the album.
He never put it in. No, he'll tell you, but that's what inspired it right there. That one, and then DJ Premier, Mass Appeal. The song is by the sample. Oh man, God, the song's on the tip of my head. Oh God, I can't think of the song. But it's only Premier takes just 3 seconds. It's Horizon Drive. That's the name of the song.
Yeah.
And he only takes about 3 seconds of the song and to make Mass Appeal. It's one of my favorites. And then Jazzy Jeff with Brand New Funk. Him using Bouncy Lady by Pleasure. That's one of my favorites.
Man, I miss the era of digging, right? I miss that feeling of going to a store. Even when CDs started to come into play, there was still a little bit of that digging culture involved, right? Like going to the record store, bro, and just sorting through records, right?
Yeah.
And then trying to find that break beat.
Trying to find that unique, obscure.
Yeah.
Horizon Drive is by Vic Juris. I knew it was going to come to me bad.
Yep. I knew once I started talking about records, the CDs, had to jog the great beat.
Yeah. Kicking in gear.
Dog, I love you, Rob. I love you so much, man. But dog, so you're known not just in the city, but across the nation, for obviously being one of the dopest DJs around. For your career in radio. Yeah. I mean, we hear it in the voice. Like you've got a voice that is to be mimicked. You know what I'm saying? Like don't act like you don't know, bro.
But it's funny that all right, so you want the story how
I want all the stories, bro.
You want all the stories? All right. Well, all right, we'll start with the first one. How I even became a DJ in the first place.
There we go. Let's go.
We'll start from the very beginning. Mm-hmm. When I was in high school, there was a big party that they had at my school, Skyline High School in Dallas, Texas. It was called the Bash. Mm-hmm. It was a big introductory party where everybody, came in because we had it was huge at the time. There was 4,200 students at my school. So this was we were one of the biggest schools in Texas at that time. Of course, it's been surpassed, but at the time, 4,200 people there. So they had this thing called the Bash, bring everybody in, all the incoming freshman students, and I think the incoming class was 1,400 freshmen coming in, and so they had one section marked off for a country band, They had another section marked off with like some rock and roll dudes, and then they had another section marked off with these guys called Centurion. And Centurion was the world's greatest high school band. The world's greatest high school band. They did covers of Michael Jackson and Prince. So shout out to Eric Lockett, Ronald Jones, Edward Magruder, Kenny Crumpton, and Richard Gardner. I'll never forget you guys.
Yeah.
Those are my dudes.
Names on them boys.
Those are my guys. They did all the Prince covers. And, they had the Jerry curls and the parachute pants. And,
okay, see, I wasn't going to tell you to tell the year, but you pretty much giving it away.
I'm giving it away.
You're giving away the era.
There you go. Yeah. I said it with the Prince and Michael Jackson covers.
Yeah.
So all the girls loved them. And me and my boy, Yondell Elvis Moore, we said, yo, we need to start a band. All these girls are going crazy for it. We need to start a band now. We're like, all right, let's get on it.
They can't get all the ladies.
They can't get all of them.
Yeah,
they're like juniors and seniors. They're gonna leave. We're freshmen. We got they're gonna be bouncing out of here soon.
Our time is now.
So our time is now. Let's get in here. We can work the crowd. So we got to talking about it. All right, so man, tell me what you play. I was like, I don't play nothing, dude. I ain't
no keys, no guitars, no
guitars,
no drums,
cymbal, triangle, nothing.
Cowbell.
Cowbell. None of it. So he's the same way. Nothing. So we said, we'll play the records. Let's just do that. So mind you, this is September when the school year starts. We make no moves toward doing anything in that direction, which here you go. Here's your first message. You got to be intentional. Well, you got to be intentional, and when you put something in your mind, make a plan of action to get started on it. So, but we had no plan of action.
None.
We didn't want to get started. We talked about it that one time, and we kind of left it in the wind. April rolls around, and this girl named Chaney Hopkins was having a Sweet 16 party. So she says, my boy Elvis overheard her in the lunchroom talking to this guy named Herb Williams, and he had a company called We Rock. Williams Entertainment Incorporated. He was fancy. He was
branded
fancy.
that joint.
He was branded. He branded. So Herb overheard was talking to Chaney and said he was going to do her Sweet 16 party for $200. And my boy,
that's intel.
That's intel.
He did his research. He was like a fly on the wall. He's like,
he was sitting there telling us. So he jumps in. He just butts in and says, "Me and Rob will do it for $150." Herb says, "These dudes, y'all don't even know them. And I'll do it for $100. So let me say your part." He said, "Me and Rob will do it for $50. That's what Elvis told her. At that point, Herb bowed out. Y'all can have it. Y'all can have it. Y'all can have it.
Two dudes spending $50.
Two dudes spending $50. And more importantly, Dave, we had no records. We had no mixers. We had no turntables. We had no amps. We had no wires. And we had no permission.
I don't care what year this was. You can't even rent that stuff for $50. Y'all are already in debt.
We are in debt out the gate, son. We are in debt out the gate. I just paid my dad off like last week. But
Thanks,
because
Pops.
we went to thanks, Mom and Dad. I appreciate y'all. We went around to like Radio Shack and Sound Warehouse and I think it was like a Joskies or something like that.
Oh, see, yeah, man.
Yeah, it's trying to find.
They ain't even around.
Trying to find equipment. Sears. Went to Sears. That's what it was. And so we ended up having to buy like $90 worth of records. I still remember this. $90 worth of records.
Yeah, because it wasn't no download this, download that, bro. Like now, like somebody asked me for a record, I don't even care what it is. I'm telling you yes 100% of the time.
Right.
Because I'm gonna find it.
I'm gonna find it.
Oh, but back then?
No. You had to
get that record.
You had to be select.
Just for the record, no pun intended. I did start DJing on vinyl.
There you go.
All right, I'm on that cusp.
You're on the cusp.
I ain't that old, but I ain't that young. You know what I'm saying? So I paid my dues. I carried records. I carried crates.
Yeah.
I got my techniques. They collecting dust, but I still pull them out every now and then.
I pull mine.
All right,
now.
just for the record.
For the record, let everybody know. Be clear.
Yeah.
Be clear. All right, ain't control of Dave.
No.
But we bought all that. Like I said, we went priced everything out. Like I said, it was $90 for the records. $60 mixer, two $80 turntables that needed $40 needles. Then there are different wires, because you had to have wired speakers back in the day. You had to have the little split the cable, get a little razor,
no RCA,
RCAs,
XLR,
all that stuff. All that
was like
stuff,
a
man.
freaking electrician,
right? You had to be. You had to be. And then, like you said, we had to go rent some big old speakers. We had to go rent some speakers for this party that we had no idea what we were doing. And
let me stop you right there. The things we do to get the attention of the ladies?
Yeah.
Because this wasn't for the money.
No.
Clearly.
No, not at first. No, clearly. It was to be known. It was to be seen. Yeah, it was
let's go. All right, yeah. I just wanted to throw that out there.
That's exactly what it came to be. You know, we had our like I said, my sister's birthday is May 4th. So on May 4th, we did my sister's party at the house. That was actually my first DJ gig, was at the house. But one of my mom's neighbors came and hooked everything up for us because we didn't know what we were doing.
So you was good.
Yeah, so we were good. The second night, he showed, like I said, we kind of took notes and we disassembled everything, reassembled it at the party, and then we go there. But now at the party, this is not a back room at the house. And, you know, we got these bigger speakers. And we're playing this song from Sky. It's called No Music. And in the song, you're like, we don't need no music because all we want to do is sing and dance and party down and play Akazu. One more time. We don't need no... And everything shuts.
We literally don't need no music.
We don't need no music. Everybody's like singing the part and waiting for the breakdown to hit. The amp has gone out. We don't know what this is doing. We're like, hey, did you do something? Did you do something? What? There's a whole who's who. Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Situation going on.
Yeah.
And it took like 20 minutes.
That is the worst. That is every DJ's nightmare, bro.
Oh, man, because you get the over-the-shoulder look.
Uh-huh. It's always your fault. It's always the DJ fault.
It's always your fault. You know,
the sound go out, DJ fault.
DJ fault.
They run out of wine, it's the DJ fault.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
everything.
Everything. So, man, it's a wonder that after having that 30-minute gap waiting for that amp to cool back off, that we ever got another gig ever again. But after that, we started doing like all the Jack and Jill parties. So we and Jack and Jill. And then the Jack and Jill parents they were like principals of schools. So this guy, Mr. Lockett, he's principal of the school called Zoomwald. He hired us to do gigs. So we got more and more gigs. Matter of fact, the guy that was the principal of Zoomwald, his son was in that band, Centurion. So he was like, why would I pay that whole band when I can pay Robin Elvis?
Right, $50.
$50, right? Right.
Hopefully you graduated from $50.
We grew up like 75. You know, we had the equipment by then. But yeah, so that grew in to that. And when it was time for me to go, so yeah, over the course of the next 3 years of high school, we got more and more popular. And when it was time for me to go to college, to go to Hampton University in Virginia, I wanted to take my turntables, and my mom was like, no, you're going to go up there, you're going to go study first. So I was like, damn, well, I'm going to go where the turntables are. So I went to the radio station. I went to WHOV. Mm-hmm. That was the campus radio station.
Yep.
And they had no interest in putting me on at the night shift because, one, they didn't play any hip hop. This is the time when the hip hop was frowned upon on the radio too.
Yeah.
And if you want to play it, it was only going to be the instrumental. That's all they were going to play. There was a time, people, when rap was frowned upon. It was that, and they would, not only was it frowned upon, they would famously promote no rap work days. In New York, they had a thing called no rap work days, and that's a whole nother story that I learned from Kwame, the song Only You. That's the reason why he made that song Only You, is because he would hear his song in LA and Chicago, but when they would go home to New York, they wouldn't play it. So he said the song Only You is 50% rap, is 50% singing, and it's an undeniable hit. I bet you they'll play it. And that's how that song came about. It was a social experiment. Shout out to Kwame.
And it worked.
But yeah, so they put me on a jazz shift at WHOV. Okay. So I had to do this jazz shift, and I hated jazz. You know,
really?
I'm a hip hop guy. At the time, you know, I'm all rap, you know, R&B. And so for me to play
break beats from like funk records. And, you know what I'm saying? Disco.
I didn't care nothing about any jazz. I didn't care about Grover Washington Jr. or Ahmad Jamal or George Benson, none of them. I wanted to hear Biz and Run DMC and Houdini and all of them. And but they put me on the air, and I said, well, this is the only way I can at least be some close around some, and you know, where the records come in. And so my dean of the mass media department, a guy named Frank Render, he said, I did my first shift, and he comes in there about an hour into it. I want to say kick the door in, pow, like, hey man. And by this time, you know, I'm Texas heavy, so from growing up from Dallas, he says, I need you to sound like you're from nowhere. It's all this y'all and hi and this and that and other. You need to get all that out your
So
voice.
you had that
Oh,
southern
oh yeah.
heavy.
You know, the crazy thing about it, it came about because originally I was born in the Bronx.
Okay.
I was born in the Bronx, and we lived there till I was 4. Then we moved to Detroit, and then I lived in Detroit to the 8th grade. Then I went from 8th to high school in Dallas. So yeah, I picked up on it. I'm in Dallas. I was going to the far. They over there, man. What's up with your hair? Yeah, I in 4 years got it like that. But then in 4 minutes, Frank Renner kicked that right out of me. He's like, no, we're not gonna have that. So that's how even getting in radio. I had no interest in being on the radio. I just wanted to DJ. I just wanted to turntable.
So take that. That's interesting, bro. Can you tell me when he came to you and said, "I want you to sound like you're from nowhere"?
Yeah.
What did you do? Like, how did you get rid of the inflection, the accent? Did you have to practice?
Yeah.
Did you have to go listen to other people and try to emulate their style? Like, what did you do to perfect that?
I'm
just curious.
Air checks. You record yourself, and then and you play it back, and you start listening, and then you start listening to other guys. One of the guys at the station at the time was a guy named Skip Dillard, Graham Dillard, who's a huge program director now up there in New York. He was on High 97 back in the day. He was one of my guys I really looked up to, and so I looked up to Skip, and I would try to just sound, just practice. I listened to it, be like, okay, that was an extra on that hair. That wasn't necessary. And then kind of got from there. And that's how radio came about.
It's all practice.
It's
I just want boys
practice.
to know that there is a certain level of naturalism and just gifted talent, but there's also a component of shaping that talent.
Yeah.
Even in this
practice.
world.
Yeah, you got to practice.
You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Like, you don't just come out the gate and be like, all right, you're Rob G. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Here's the voice.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying?
And the crazy thing, I didn't even know I really had a voice. And then but I got pulled away from my love of radio because I was up there in Hampton. I was up there just having a good time. Yeah. And so I ended up getting kicked out of school.
It's college, bro.
It's college. My mom called it a pizza and party. I'll let y'all figure out that one. But she said I was having that. So they shipped me off to the Navy. And I was in the Navy 4 years. And when I got out the Navy, I moved down here. And when I moved down here, I was working with my cousin. We were designing websites. We did like one of the first websites for Steve McNair back in the day and stuff like that. It was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. But we did that. But then I went and got my turntables from Dallas, and I was still like DJing at the house. And I used to live at the Atrium on Braeswood, where Scarface used to live. Keke used to live in the same building. We used to be in the elevator, and there was a phone in the elevator that you could make local calls. And so we'd be in there.
For those of you that don't know what he's talking about, there are these things that were called payphones, right?
Like, this wasn't even a payphone.
This wasn't even a payphone.
It was a regular like a wall on the phone, and it was in.
And it had a cord.
It had a cord.
It had a cord.
Like in the elevator bank where you press in the elevator bank
in
the elevator bank where you press the what floor you're going to. And how they had like the little emergency thing, in case of emergency, you open up, it was a phone in there. But that phone didn't just call the operator, you can call anybody. So Keke would be in there on the phone. Where you going? Fifth? All right. Doop. Yeah, so anyway.
Cupcaking with some girl.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
he was cupcaking with some girl, man. So Keke, that was 95, 97. So that was but Keke lived there, Fat Pat, the whole little Red Shop crew, it was a whole little thing. Around there. I didn't even know them dudes like that, but I was, and it wasn't until later, I see the Don't Mess with Texas. I'm like, hey, that's the dude that's on the elevator all the time.
On the phone. Yeah,
that's
like,
him.
Wait a minute. What?
So I tease him about that all the time. But when I got there, like I said, I was DJing at the house, and we had our own business, but had like most businesses, it was hard keeping it afloat. It was because one of the other things we did was like debt. What was it? It was like debt reduction mediation. Like if you owe somebody
doing that, like yeah.
So we got this company. The company's failing, and it was like, hey man, we got to go put some money into it. We had an office at Arena Towers that was just eating our butt up.
Everybody's had an office at Arena.
Yeah, everybody. All the Swap House and everything. Yeah, everybody, Penny Pixel, all of them.
Yep.
It was over there. So I went and sold cars. Bill Hurd Chevrolet.
Come on.
And I'm down there selling cars, and the box is doing a uh, remote down there. And
car salesmen, they love being on the box and all the radio stations. So we gonna do some remotes.
We're gonna do some remotes
at a car dealership.
Right. So they said, everybody else was kind of scared to talk to Hatta when he was like, hey, so what's the deal on the Camaros? And so I was, man, I'll go out there and do it. So I went out there, talked to Hatta, told him, yeah, man, got the Camaros, this, no money down, blah, 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 interest, la, 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 la. And when I heard the break play back, I was like, oh, man, I miss being on the radio. Because at this time, it had been about 5-6 years since I'd done anything radio-wise. I was still doing regular DJing. And then they had a DJ out there at the time, too. This dude named, wasn't even X-Ray, but this other cat, I can't remember his name right now, but he was out there DJing. And I said, hey, man, you mind if I get on for a minute? And
just playing
you ain't getting paid, but I am. Yeah, fine, have at it. And
give me a break.
I get up, right, give me a break. So I get out there and, go through his records and have a little something. And Hatta was like, what are you doing out here with a tie on? Trying to mix. What are you doing? And I told him, I DJ, whatever. He didn't think nothing about it. But nothing came from that moment with Hatta. That was my first time meeting him.
Yeah.
But
I guarantee you left an impression.
It was, because he, later on he talks about, man, you should have been doing your work and you up here trying to be on the radio. But But the way I ended up even getting put on, so to speak, in Houston, because at the time it was a straight monopoly. Steve Nice, it was Ag and Blaster, GT, Walter D, B Swift. Those guys, they were DJ Illegal. They had a lock, and you were not penetrating that because they went to, Steve and G went to Texas Southern. You got Ag went there as well, and PV, and plus they went to high school here.
Yep.
Blaster, got U of H, and the Cap was on lockdown, so it was getting a gate and a foothold into it. It was just damn near impossible.
You had to like marry in, pretty much. Any one of them got a sister? Or
right.
Just like marry into the family.
It was damn near impossible. And so my partner Mike, who I lived with at the time, we hear all these commercials with Steve Nice in the mix here. Then we're like, damn, this dude got everything. How is he that good? Let's go to this party, man. Let's go to one of his parties to go check him out. We got to see. He can't be, because every commercial, Steve Nice this, Steve Nice that. And so we like, all right, let's go. So go to this party called The Roof. And a place called The Roof. And we're pulling in, we see this guy bringing in his records, and he looks at me. I was like, oh, dude, that must be dude. He must know, kind of here to hate on him. And he, and normally it's not hate in my heart. It's not hate in my heart. I'm not that guy. But this day I had no.
I gotta figure this out.
Like it was nothing good. Yeah. I was coming with nothing but hate in my heart. I was coming to the party, Dave. I was coming
complete ill intention.
Ill intention. Not that I was going to mess his turntables up, but I wasn't coming to do that.
A drink.
Bump the table.
Bump the table.
I wasn't coming to do that, but I was definitely there to fold my arms and harumph a lot.
I wouldn't have mixed that.
I would have done that.
Yeah, like I would.
You call that a transition? I was there for that.
Dudes, man, listen.
And they're around.
Them dudes be the ones, though. You could be DJing somebody's wedding and they pull up, oh, yeah, I do this. I'm like, all right, but right now I'm doing it.
But yeah.
Like let me work. Do I come up to your job?
No.
And, you know what I'm saying?
No. But I'll definitely come to hate. And I see him in the parking lot. So the hate can start early. We ain't got to wait. So he sees me, Steve Nice sees me, and he looks, and he went full government. He's like, Robert Gamble used to ride bus 621 with Mr. Hill from Carter to Skyline, used to hang with Robert Guy, Kennard Bourne, and he started naming all my friends.
He
Brian
just read
Davis.
you your rights and claims broad daylight.
Who is this dude? How you know him? He was like, yeah, man, I'm Steve McKnight, but everybody, down here call me Steve Nice. I'm like, that's you. And he's like, man, you still DJ? Now he's a fan. He's a fan. He's
Yeah.
like, he's a fan from high school. He's like, you still DJ, man? Oh man, y'all used to have all the parties, you know, at the Armory and the YMCA. Used to do all this stuff. He's like, man, why don't y'all come in, man? Y'all come in with me. Come on, have a beer. And now this dude is my best friend, like in 2 seconds. Now I can't hate on him.
I know, right now. See, that's a perfect example of in the Bible. All right, check this out. You know, it says Jesus tells us to love our enemies.
Yeah.
Because when you do, you cast heaps of coals upon their heads, and that's exactly what
That's
he
what
just
he did.
He didn't even know,
He didn't
but he
even know.
loved his enemy
Did not
without
know.
even knowing you was his enemy.
Did not
and
know.
in that moment, you felt all them coals and heaps of coals on your head. You was like,
Boom.
love conquers all evil.
You
know what I'm saying?
All.
See, the Bible is the same in the hood, in the boardroom, in the, you know what I'm saying?
In the parking lot of
Look.
the parking lot of a club. It
Listen.
was he brought me in there, man. He bought me and my boys some beers. We got part of the buffet. You know, we didn't have to pay to get in.
That's how you love your enemies, bro.
And then
Just buy them a beer.
that's
That's
it.
it.
Buy him a beer. And then after that, he was like, hey man, you know, you want to open up for me sometime, man? I got a lot of stuff, man, and I can't be at all these different places. Oh, next thing you know, I'm opening up for Steve Nice at all these different clubs and probably talking about $50. Like one of the first ones we did was this joint right over there in Montrose, in the Montrose area. And the guy paid us $200. He paid $200. Now, mind you, it was 3 DJ. It was Steve Nice, it was GT, and it was me.
Okay.
Steve Nice was on the air from 7 to 10. GT had the DJ from 10 to 1.
Okay.
So I was the gap filler. So GT would go open up, and about 9:30, he'd leave. I'd DJ from 9:30 until whenever Steve got there, and then Steve would take over, and then GT come back about 1:30, he'd do a little reggae set and close out the club. And so
you know, GT loved his reggae set.
He loved his reggae set.
He be killing it.
Right. So I was so happy to get $50. I was leaving the radio. I was still working at the car dealership. So I would leave the car dealership like, ooh, I gotta go. You know, be in the middle of selling the Tahoe. Like, all right, this might get me 1,000, but I'm finna go get a hot 50 over here.
And some exposure.
Yeah. And it was Steve and DJ Illegal who helped, you know, kind of tell me like, all right, play for the ladies, and don't be playing for your homeboys at the crib that's playing, you know, 2K and all that kind of stuff like that.
No, straight
so
up.
play for the ladies, and so, or Madden, you go in 2K when even out. So that's what kind of helped get me noticed. And then next, you know, we're doing Max's on Augusta. I'm doing that with him, and T Gray was another one who had everything on lock. T Gray had like Friday, me and Steve had like Saturday, and then I ended up getting my own night on at Max's on Sunday night. And when they said that in the song Power Up, I felt like I'd made it.
Yeah.
And Max's on Sunday night, I was like, that's me.
That's me.
That's me they talking about. That's me they talking about in that song.
Nah, man, I'm telling you, bro, like such an integral component of Houston culture, bro. Like there's so many moments in these eras that you can go back to, and you can like attach it to like a particular club, or a scene or a sound.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you contributed to that in a very, very big way, bro.
Yeah, you start talking about it, you start realizing it, But, you know, doing like, and shout out to another person, because I don't want her to forget, is Lisa Rogers. Because Lisa Rogers helped put me on with this, she and my boy Brian Grandison did a company called Elite Entertainment, and they would have me DJ like the little back to camp parties and that's, you know, for the Oilers. Yeah, see, that's just a whole nother thing. Not even the Titans, the Oilers. Not even the Texans, the Oilers.
Yes.
So
I was wearing them throwbacks. You was wearing them when they was regular.
Yeah. I was doing stuff for them and for Lisa, and me and Lisa met because we were at this one club, and this DJ was playing one of those pre-mixed records that they used to sell back all the time. And it was jamming, not mad at him for playing the pre-mix.
Hold up, but when he played it, was he pretending to mix it?
Yeah, he was. And so I was kind of dancing by Lisa. I didn't know her at the time, and she was like, man, you know, this guy's jamming. I was like, nah.
Because we know.
Because I was like,
you could tell.
The next song is going to be Knee Deep. What? How you know? And next songs after that is going to be, and I'm calling out all the songs because I got the same pre-mixed record at the crib. I got this record. I got it. She's like, how you know? I was like, I DJ. And then that's how we struck our friendship.
Okay.
That's how we became cool. But Lisa helped put me on to do different events. Steve by opening up, but then the real big break came when Steve moved to Dallas. And when Steve moved to Dallas, that opened up a spot at the box.
Mhm.
And
Why would anybody want to move to Dallas?
because Steve is from Dallas.
I'm just playing.
He's from Dallas. We from Dallas. He's
I
from
had
Dallas.
to throw that little bit of shade. You know what I'm saying? I know. Yeah.
He's from Dallas. He's from Dallas. And so, that opened up a spot there. Because like I said, I'm getting some, and I'm getting a little bit hate too. Actually, before the club started happening, my aunt Vanya Gamble worked at Texas Southern. She worked over like the student relations, and so they would do different parties. So when they were doing some event, and she asked Aggravated and Steve and GT how much they would charge. I guess it was out of their budget, and they were feeling themselves. So she said, "Well, I'll just get Robbie to do it." And they're like, "Robbie, you can have Robbie do your damn party." Ag tells the story too. Ag was sitting there in the front of the student union, harumphing me the whole time when I'm DJing,
knowing what you accepted,
knowing what I accepted,
undercutting.
I undercutted him, but I didn't even know I undercut.
You didn't know.
I was just happy to get extended the gig, and so Ag was pissed off. He told me he said it was him and a bunch of them. They were sitting there, doing the same thing I had planned on doing to Steve. But then they found out Robbie was jamming.
Mm-hmm.
No,
it was that day.
It was like,
we knew that Robbie.
It was like, okay, well, we can't hit on Robbie that much. Robbie's all right. But no, when Steve left the box, they had a tryout with me, B Swift, and Good Grief. They had a mix show weekend, like Memorial Day weekend. They brought all three of us in, and we did for the mix weekend. We all had a little slot. And then they didn't make any decision. So 4th of July comes back and they have us come back again. So we're because by this time Steve is gone. And so they have us do it again for the mix show weekend. They make a decision until a couple weeks later.
Y'all battle it out. That's probably what it was.
They see we battle out. And then they ended up hiring Good Grief. Uh-huh. And I was pissed.
I bet.
I was like, man, damn the box. I don't care about them. Who needs radio? I was that guy. I was bitter. September rolls around. And they called me back again for Labor Day because by this time, Good Grief, I guess he decided that the $8 an hour that they were paying at the radio station, Good Grief was not happy with having to do that and give up his clubs.
Yeah, man.
So he said, all right, do you want the spot? And I took it. Mm-hmm. And I took it at a time when I had no car because I had left the radio station. I had left the dealership at this time. And I left the dealership for like 2 years because they were open on, it was a Christmas fell on a Saturday and they wanted to make us come to work on Sunday.
Bro,
to make up for that day.
Schedules, dog.
Right.
Like that, yeah.
And they wanted us to make up for that day. And because they wanted us to make up for that day on that Sunday, I said, I ain't coming in on Sunday. And that led to a Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday in 2 years.
We'll show you.
I'll never come back. I ain't come back till I do a remote. No. But and I ended up doing that. It was crazy.
Yeah, I did come back.
I ended up coming back. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, I used to work when I first got hired at the station. Yeah, I ain't had no car. I would when I knew my shift was, or if I was coming from the club then the night before, I would sleep at the radio station, in the conference room or in the mix room.
Yeah, see, that's the part that a lot of people don't hear about. The grind, the before the breakthrough, right?
Oh man,
and a lot of people in radio, even the music business as a whole, keep going, bro, because it's like a lot of people think that, I'm gonna make a few calls, I'm gonna fill out an application online from my comfortable little bedroom. Yeah. It's like, no, I hear the stories of I left the club and I went straight to the radio station, took a quick little nap on the sofa that's uncomfortable in the corner, and got ready for the morning show and voice track this what. So
it wasn't even, and like I said, it wasn't even doing morning show at first because morning show is prime time. You don't just jump into that. Blaster was on there. Blaster had the morning show at the time, so I was doing like the lunch mix for Carmen Contreras, and when I was
the mixes that I was trying to emulate.
So I was doing the lunch mix for her, and then I think I had like a Thursday. I would do it like a Wednesday or Thursday, or maybe it was early in the week for G-Man at 5:00. I would do those mixes for him, and then I eventually got Friday and Saturday nights 10-1. So I'm losing my club too. So I'm in the same predicament as Good Grief. And we had a boss at the time, Tom Calicoche, who was not about you missing any time. It wasn't just record your mix and this and that and the other. The only way I was getting over it and was able to survive was on once a month, they had this thing called First Friday. and I was DJing the first Friday, and they were paying me $600, and that was enough to pay my rent and put a couple extra little dollars in my pocket, and then I would pick up like a couple little happy hours here and there and get some money. But the radio station was not.
That was just
It was not paying me. It was just to help,
get your name out there.
help get your name out there.
Leverage it to
get your name out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
To get your name out there, and even after doing it, because when I first got hired on, I think it was like 2002. So even after doing it for like 2 years, people still didn't. They knew the names that they knew. I didn't have no real prime time slot, and I'm thinking, I'd come a little place when this guy named Ray Cash. You remember the song called "Bumping My Music"?
Yes, bro.
All right, it's Scarface on the song, and me and Aggravated got invited to the video shoot. So we go to the video shoot, Bumping My Music, and I remember because that's when the PlayStation Portable first came out. So I always had my little PlayStation Portable wherever I went. And we're on the video shoot. Face comes in, and I'd met Face before, but when we were super cool and nothing like that. And this was right when Pimp C got free. So Pimp C was free. So if you go back and look at the video, you'll see Pimp C in the video, mink down, mink down, chilling.
Boys don't know if it's summer or winter.
Yeah, right.
They see Pimp C in the video.
Because there ain't no temperature on TV.
No temperature on TV. We've all heard that story.
So Pimp comes in the room. Everybody's excited to see Pimp. Ag knows him. Of course, he knows Scarface. They introduce him to Ray Cash. And he's like, "Who is you?" And so I'm thinking, Rob G, man, general man, on 97.9 The Box. Pimp looks me up and down like I'm short.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know you. You need to get your name up.
Just let it be known.
Let it be known. Like, damn. Well, okay. Only
go
go
to-
2 years on. 2 years on the radio for nothing. Yeah, it's time to go to work. And but then Blaster moved on from the morning show. Mad Hatter said, "All right, I'm not gonna have just one DJ. I'm gonna do two." So me and GT would alternate. We would alternate. I think I had Tuesday and Thursday. He had Monday, Wednesday, and then Friday he'd do the 7 o'clock. I'd do the 9 o'clock mix. And a couple times they'd put you out there, G, but you know the story. G did not come to work. He was having too much fun out there. He didn't come to work. It's called it like it is, because what would happen, like on Fridays, I would wake up and listen to the mix at 7 o'clock to make sure I wasn't doubling up on what he played. And then, and so I'm listening to the radio and I'm not hearing no mix. I'm just hearing songs play. And I'm like, something ain't right. So when I got in, they were like, had to kind of put the opportunity to me, like, "Hey man, you want to do this full time?" Now I'm thinking I got to wake up every morning. Now I'm doing clubs. I'm doing maxes and.
Because when you say wake up every morning, like, let boys know, what time do you have to wake up to be ready for the morning show?
For the morning show at this time, just even do the 7 o'clock mix, they wanted you there by like 6:15.
Okay, so that's not too.
So that wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
But still, from the world I was coming in, doing M-Bar, doing Vision, doing The Office. I had club. So getting off at 2 o'clock and then going to the station every morning was not appealing to me. Did not seem appealing to me until J-Mac pulled me to the side. This would kind of change the whole scope of everything. J-Mac pulled me in the mix room. He's like, "Say, dog." I can't even do a good J-Mac. But anyway, so I'm not even going to try.
Right, like we can't get that convo.
Say, man, God dog it. All right. All right, I can do that part. God dog it. If you don't take this job. No. So J-Mac told me, he pulled me aside. He said, "Hey, man, you better make a decision about taking this opportunity, because if you don't do it, Hatta's going to go find somebody off the street right now. It's not going to be another DJ at the radio station. He's going to find some other DJ off the street, and he's going to get him the mixer, and he's going to put him on this primetime slot. So either you're going to get up in the morning and figure it out, or DJ Nuck If You Buck is going to have a dope-ass slot, and you're going to miss out." So shout out to J-Mac. J-Mac's the one that kind of changed everything for me, and I just said, all right, I just thugged it out. Took over doing mornings, and that evolved because, the mix was at 7 and it went at 9. So I get there early, and then I just kind of be sitting in the studio. Wasn't saying nothing. They ain't had no microphone for me. But then if they would have a conversation, normally it was about sports when Hatta would pull me in. And I'd give my little take on sports. And that led to more and more opportunities until eventually I ended up getting a contract. So shout out to Mac, because Mac kind of push everything along.
Look, it's them come to Jesus moments, and
Yeah.
then obviously heeding those moments and those words of
Being
wisdom,
obedient.
and then
Being
being
obedient.
in the room,
Yeah.
being present, showing up. You know, because even after you had that moment with Mac, it still took, like you said, I would just be in the room, like in between those moments.
Yeah.
And then when the opportunity presented itself, you were in the room.
Yeah,
You were
yeah.
in the room. Speaking of that, bro, like one thing I admire about you is how unashamed you are about your faith, right? And hearing your story, it's incredible to hear the journey of how you went from here and how God has taken you to where you are to this day. I mean, you've worked with some of the most prestigious, iconic, incredible people, everybody from, all of our local Houston legends, like you said, are friends. They're not
Yeah.
just colleagues.
Yeah.
Everybody from Beyonce to,
I know
Lizzo, Meg, and then beyond Houston, even so Snoop. And I mean, the list goes on and on. It'd probably be easier for me to list the people you haven't worked with than to list the people you have, bro. But one moment in time that really struck me, we were at a listening party with Banner, with David Banner. Not too long ago, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, it was last summer.
Yeah, last summer. Banner had just dropped a new project, and I got a lot of love for Banner.
Box 2.
Yeah, man, and he's got a lot of love for you.
That's
One of
my
the
dude.
things, like in the middle of him speaking, he saw you, he leaned over to you. I think he had cussed or something, and then he looked at you as if you was the pastor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He was like, "My bad, Rob, my bad." But Rob be keeping me on the spiritual track. You know what I'm saying? And so there's a lot of folks in the industry that have a lot of respect for you, not just because of your talent, your commitment, and your career, but they have a lot of respect for you because of your integrity and your character and your love for Christ and what you represent.
Well, I appreciate that.
Talk to me a little bit about that, bro.
Well, it's funny, man. In the end, God always gonna get the glory, right?
Come on.
In the end, it's always gonna happen. And so,
Even if you started off hating.
Even if you start off hating, God gonna get the glory. And it's just funny how everything happens full circle. He'll give you the talent and he'll let you use it for other things, but eventually it's his.
Wow.
And it's his. And he's gonna get it. And I'll never forget when I was like a junior in high school, something like that, and I'm in the back trying to work on some Peter Piper and stuff like that. And my Aunt Dorothy said, "You ever thought about playing any James Cleveland or any Andre Crouch?" I'm like, "What?" I'm looking at her like she's wet. Like, what? No.
Yeah.
No, why would I'm Houdini and Cybertron. What are you talking
But
about?
now, though, I ain't even gonna lie to you, bro. I done tried to sample Good Day by James Cleveland a couple times.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Like, try it. When you get home, I guarantee, now that I done put that in your spirit, like, go ahead and pull out Good Day by James
I
Cleveland.
thank God for it.
Uh-huh.
All right,
Yeah,
all right,
and
all
just
right,
play
all right.
around with it, sample it up, chop it up. I want to see what you come up with.
Okay. All right. But
Anyway,
funny how
back
like
then, though.
but yeah, so I had no interest, and I pushed this off to the side. And then Praise 92.1 comes about.
Come on.
Praise 92.1 comes, and they got the Yolanda Adams morning show. So you got Yolanda, you got Marcus D. Wiley, you got my boy Montana, you got AV, and then one of my other mentors who's been huge and very helpful to me is Uncle Funky, Larry Jones, Uncle Funky. So
Radio Hall of Fame.
Radio Hall of Famer, man. That is my guy. He would just let me sit in there with Magic 102 and I'd just be watching him. Just watching me, like, come on, he'd come, he always shows so much love when he didn't have to.
Man.
And they were trying to do a mix segment for the show, and they didn't know who they were going to have do the gospel mix for the show. So Larry was like, Rob can do it. He just volunteered, just put me on the spot. Said, Rob can do it. I'm like, what? So
okay.
I don't even have any gospel records like that. So shout out to Crazy C. Crazy C gave me a whole bunch of records, and DJ Wiz, they gave me a bunch of records, and I'm just kind of going by BPMs. I don't even know them. I don't even know the artists like that. I know Kirk Franklin.
Yeah.
I know Yolanda Adams.
Mary.
Mary.
You feel me?
That's the extent of my gospel. That's
was playing Brighter Day on repeat.
That's it, man. Like, how many days you gonna play Stomp in a Row?
Do we have a revolution?
Right. So that's when Larry put that to me, and then so that was my first time being nationally syndicated, and it was for gospels, and so Larry was like, "We're gonna call you Rev Rob." He said, so that was the name. They didn't say Rob G, so we're gonna call you Rev Rob, and that's how that came about. So that's when I really learned, like you said, in the end, God gonna have it His way.
Oh, always.
One way or another, He's going to have it his way. And during COVID, when COVID went down and D Nice blew up, our boss Terri, again, she's always an innovator, always thinking ahead and how to, jump into the moment. She's like, D Nice is out there doing this thing at night. She said, but there's no DJs doing anything in the morning from the house. She said, why don't you try to do something from the go Instagram Live in the morning. I'm like, all right, no big deal, because I'm used to being on the morning show, getting up, all right, whatever. And as I'm going upstairs to my room to set up, some said, man, don't play no Drake, man. Play that Kirk Franklin. Play that Mary Mary today, because everybody was going through it. COVID was so much of the word I use for 2020 is loss. There was loss of your jobs, loss of freedoms, loss of life. There was, just lost everywhere you turned around. So let me do something inspirational. And so now I'm reaching back to these gospel mixes that I did. So I'm doing, now I know some Kurt Carrs and some Byron Cages in there. Now I know, I can do a little something right there. And so that eventually led to me doing this thing I call it the spiritually sanitized mix. Because my pastor, Byron C. Stevenson at the Fort Bend Church, he said, people weren't going to church and they weren't necessarily doing any Bible study or reading anything. Yep. He said, but just like you were coming in and sanitize your countertops and your computer and your doorknobs, you need to spiritually sanitize you need to your spirit. So that's what I started doing. So we called it the spiritually sanitized mix. I was doing that. I would read a word of the day. And then eventually one of my homegirls, Reverend Tamala Wilson, who she's works over there at Wheeler Avenue, amongst other things. She's got a lot of things, ministries that she's a part of that she does. But Tammy is so dope. She was like, hey, you ought to read verse. I was like, so-and-so today. And I was like, well, no, Tammy, you come on and read it. You're going to do it. I am not equipped for that. So Tammy came on, and Tammy became my partner. And we would, every morning, we were just doing it. We did it consistently 7 days a week for about a year and a half.
Yeah. I used to tap in a lot.
Yeah. We used to do it for a year, and we did it for like a year and a half, 7 days a week. Then we broke it down to 6. And now that everything has kind of gotten back to life and everybody's kind of back to their own way, it's down to about 3 times a week. But, we still do it. But, I mean, we became all little spiritually sanitized folks. It became our own little community. But it was just God's way of getting what he wanted out of me one way or another.
Yeah. Now he does have a habit of doing that, man.
Yeah.
Like Jonah with the well, and he gonna get you to where
you
need
Paul,
to be.
Yeah, you gonna
one way or another. Even if you try to rebel, he's gonna find a way.
He gonna find it. You gonna get it, or you gonna get it taken from you.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
I love it though, man. Especially with the whole concept of the spiritually sanitized mix is so powerful, because music has such a hold on folks, right? Like, it has so much power. Like, that's why that whole thing about the Pied Piper, right? And philosophers back in the day would use the artists, not even just the musicians, but the artists, to manipulate and influence culture, right? And so you see it a lot now, like, we use music to get messages across. And so to be able to sanitize your mental, your spiritual, and your emotional, because sometimes unconsciously we don't even realize what we're feeding our soul.
Yeah, man.
I don't want to get too deep, dog.
No, why not? I mean,
but, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes we do need to sanitize our palate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not telling folks out there, don't ever listen to secular music. Like, nah, bro. Like, I'm still, like, it just is what it is. You might find me mixing Juvie and Kirk in the same Kiati be having me do it all the time.
Right.
But having that filter, I think, is important. And I think that's super dope. Bro, how do you balance? Like I said, because you're in these circles, like we just mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
You're in these where, like, we were just at the rodeo. We were rubbing shoulders with Mannie, Juvie, you name it, right?
Yeah.
And but then at the same token, you are a man of faith. Like, you're still saved, no pun intended.
Yeah.
How do you balance that?
Well, I mean, I ain't comparing myself to Jesus, but Jesus went to where the sinners are, right?
Come on. I'm just trying to do what he told me to do.
I'm just doing it. I mean, but the crazy thing is, I think, a lot of these guys now, they've evolved.
Come on.
They've evolved now. And maybe they don't do it, as much, or they don't put it out there in front.
Yeah.
As often. They don't wear it on their sleeve, and maybe they'll get there, maybe they won't.
Yeah.
But a lot of them have evolved, and I just think that the balance the balance just comes because, man, at the end of the day, you got to be you. You got to be faithful to you. You got to be truthful to you. I'm at age now, man. There's only really one thing I really truly care about beside my kids, and that's peace. I just that's it, man. I just want peace in my life. If you're not bringing peace,
Come on.
I can't mess with you.
Yeah.
I can't mess with you because I don't want to live a life where you sitting in the garage or your job because you got to wait 5 minutes to get your mind right to go in, or you get into the house and you got to put the key in the door and
Here we go.
oh, all right, let's get up in here. I just want peace. I just want peace in my life. And so part of that peace comes from, I get up every morning. I read a scripture, normally from Psalms or Proverbs. I kind of stay between those. I've not read the whole Bible yet. I'm not that guy yet. I ain't gonna front. But I do I go Bible study at
Come on,
church.
yeah.
I go to Bible study. But Proverbs and Psalms, they more daily way to live your life. So, it's something to kind of feed on
Yeah, because
every day.
with the Proverbs, it's 31 of them joints, 30, 31.
Yeah.
You can literally read one every day for the month.
Every day.
You know what I'm saying?
Every day, and find something, find some nugget in there. So that's that's really where the balance comes from, centering in that. And then I don't do clubs like that no more. I'm more weddings, which I enjoy. I do it because weddings, everybody is coming to already have a good time.
Come on.
They're already unless there is like a great heated Hatfield McCoy situation between them. Everybody's there already to have a good time. And so I look at it like if the baseline is already happy, if I can just turn the happy up a little bit, I'm the man.
I'm just here to amplify the happiness.
If I can, I'm just here not to even dip below.
Plus,
I'm not here to just.
They generally pay a lot more.
Greatly.
And prior to arrival.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? You ain't got to go chase no promoters down. You ain't got to
get no rub on the neck.
They ain't trying to pay you in Ciroc. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you paid up front.
Got a couple bottles for you, Playboy.
I'm sorry, man, but my AT&T provider does not accept Branson.
One of my
50.
One of my things, man, I just got tired of it, and I learned this from car sales, is when they would try to come to me with that old, oh man, we didn't do well today, this and that. The club promoters, the janky promoter, they rubbing the back of their neck. Oh man, we didn't do well. And so I say, I hit one promoter with this, and it stopped all that. I was like, yeah, I see you didn't do well tonight. If y'all had won, were you gonna pay me more? So if I'm not sharing in the wins, I'm not sharing in the losses. Just pay me what we had agreed upon, and let's go from there. And that's how I operate. Not sharing in the wins. Man. I'm not sharing in the losses.
That's it. Like, if you want to work out a percentage deal, we could talk about that next time. But right now,
according to this one, this was the set price, and that's why I expect to be paid. And so, like you said, that's why weddings are better. 50% deposit. The only thing I don't like about weddings is sometimes you get paid so far in advance that the night of, when you gotta go do the whole gig. Like,
you feel like you're doing it for free.
Yeah. You done been got paid at the bridal expo, and it is May now.
They paid in full.
They paid in full
9
like 5 months ago, 10 months ago.
Which, speaking of which, bro, I appreciate you because everybody knows we have one of the leading wedding entertainment firms here in the city, and you've bailed me out on many of occasions, either yourself or you've referred somebody that could come in and save the day. Yeah. So I'm truly, truly grateful for that, dog. Just wanted to say that publicly.
Thank you.
Rob G, the general, has literally saved the day on many of occasions. But lastly, bro, before we leave, man, I ask everybody this, dog. And, because in our culture, in our day and age, it's all about that grind, right? You hear everybody talking about work. I'm asleep when I die.
Yeah.
And I get that, right? And you're clearly a person who works really, really hard. Like, you put in your 10,000 hours and then some. You paid your dues, the sacrifices, any other cliche you can insert in this moment to talk about how hard you work. You embody that. But as a man of faith, I also know that there's a spiritual component to where, like, God can take your work and multiply it, right?
Yeah.
Like, how has your faith, bro, like, not just your work, because your work can only take you so far.
Right.
But how has your faith, man? Give me one of them moments where your faith, like, it was clearly God showing up in an unexplainable way. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Like you can't take no credit for it.
I can't take no credit for it. Man, this was a time, this was after I hosted the morning show on Boom. When we had the Boom
92.1 and went through.
it's gone through a lot of transformations. There's been a lot of things.
Praise is here to stay, baby. I'm just saying.
It's been a lot of things. But the time when it was hip hop and I had the morning show there.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but you were like the face of Boom, though, bro. Like you were Boom. I'm just like when you think about, that's just me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and that's thanks to Terri and Hatta, that they gave me that opportunity to do that there. So I truly appreciate them. You know, they thought enough of the useless information of hip hop that I got in my head that they were like, hey, put this guy over there. He can talk about it. So, but when Boom. When they changed formats and went to Radio Now. When they went to Radio Now, it was two things that happened that, like I said, I know was nothing but God. One was, at the time, my wife, like I said, she wasn't working. And had two kids. I think my daughter was like 2 at the time. Well, she was 3. She was 3 at the time. It was 2017. She was about to be 3. And Terri brought me in there to take me back to the boss to let me know that they were letting me go. And Terri is crying uncontrollable. She's inconsolable. And
Terri
that's just how much she loves her people, man. And I'm putting my arm around Terri. I'm like, hey, it's gonna be all right. You know, like
you the one getting fired.
I'm the one getting fired, but like Terri, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. Calm down. It's all right. It's all right. You know, so here's my card key.
I can't tell. I can see it right now, bro. All right, sorry. No.
So Terri, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. But one of the things Terri did was, because she could have brought me back on. I could have immediately left there and gone right back to 97.9, back to the morning show.
Yeah.
But it was not going to be in a salary position like I had before. It was going to be hourly. So she said, I got to let you go. But she said, but we're letting you go, you get a severance. So that one big influx right there at one point in time, of basically half my salary for the year is what they gave me at that one point in time. So that kept me afloat. It allowed my wife to go find a job and get back to work, and it allowed me to stay home and with my daughter. So we had to send her to daycare and stuff like that. So that was one thing. Like I said, I know it's nothing but God to get this huge check for that. But then another time was in that same period. So that money's running out now. And I had fallen behind on my mortgage. And it looked like we are going to get evicted and all this other kind of stuff like that. I get a call from my, and I prayed, man. I prayed. I was like, God, whatever's in your will, but I got, you know the situation. I got these 2 kids. I got a wife. What we're gonna do here. And my uncle calls me on a Sunday, and I think something was gonna go down like that Wednesday. He called me on a Sunday. He said, Robbie, I need you to come over to the house tomorrow. I was like, hey, what's going on? I'm thinking, something's up. He said, your grandmother's house in D.C., we sold it, and all 9 grandkids are going to get 50 grand. And so come over tomorrow. I need you to come over tomorrow and get your money. I was like, this is God. Yeah. This is God all the way. Where did this boom.
I will be there.
I will be there. And it couldn't have been more timely. It couldn't have been more, like I say, God will show up in ways unimaginable for you. But you have to do your part, and you got to be obedient.
Come on.
You got to be obedient. And another thing too, man, I learned in these situations right here, we have a tendency to go tell everybody else our problems, but we don't tell them to God. You'll go run around, you call every friend unmanageable. Hey, what you doing? You at work? You got a minute? Man, let me tell you this, man.
Bro.
Man, I'm having a hard time over here, man. Oh, man, my wife's kidding. Oh, man, my kids. Oh, my job this, da-da-da-da. You'll tell everybody. God, like, say, pimp, right here. I'm right here. And that happened to me. That happened to me recently. Man, I was going through some stuff, and I'm calling everybody, and nobody answered. And it was like a message. It was like a reminder. It was like,
See,
what I got to do?
mm-hmm.
What I got to
He
do?
probably shut them calls down.
Yeah, he shut all them calls down. You gonna call me? You gonna call me? So there's that right there.
Man,
Yeah.
Rob. Well, man, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you just for kicking it with me today, man. You know, we I think you had hit me. We started chopping it up, and you were sharing one of your stories, and I was like, dog, we got to turn the cameras on. And in less than a week, this wasn't like a thought out, planned out. It was just like, hey, bro, I'm there. And I'm truly grateful for that. I'm truly grateful for all the times you've come through to speak to kids, whether it's
man. I think that's dope of you to do those things, man. I mean, Dave, you do so much stuff on the low, and you know, to be of service, and I really truly admire that. For you to set up that DJ class for them kids, to get all that equipment, all them controllers, and you know, and pull different people in, man, that's a testament to you and the relationships that you've built, that people will come to bat for you when you need them. That you know, so I mean, that speaks volumes to you. So you know, when you asked me, I said sure, I'll come tell a Rakim story. I ain't even tell a Rakim story, but
Hey, hold on, before we go, we got to hear the Rakim story. I'll insert it somewhere in the beginning, and you know what I'm saying. But no,
the Rakim story is quick and swift. So how I got to DJ for Rakim, it was a boom show, and earlier I found out that I was going to be interviewing Run DMC. Now I talked to them before; they're my all-time favorite hip hop group. So I found out I was going to be interviewing them, and so I'm geek about this. All week long, I'm thinking about the interview I got with Run DMC, and as I'm on the way into the room,
like rehearsing your questions in your head. Dog.
I got a question. You know, I want to. Don't forget to ask that. You know, because I'd be mad at myself if I got them right there and I forgot to ask. And so I'm walking into the room to interview them. And Jonathan Cook, our promotion director at the box at the time, well, he's still there now, but Cook said, hey, you got your laptop with you? I said, yeah, well, what's up? He said, after you do this, you're going to have to go DJ for Rakim. What?
Like, for real?
So now I'm just mind blown. Like, huh? So I go in there and I do the interview with Run DMC, and then I come back out. Next thing you know, like, okay, here's a song set list. This and that, you know, this Rakim. So that June 14, 2016, still one of the greatest hip hop days of my life. It is the greatest.
Yeah. Nah, man. The moments like that don't come often, bro. And again, it goes back to right place, right time.
Yeah.
Being in the room. You said it earlier, man. A lot of the things you've experienced in your life have been the result of obedience, right?
Yeah.
And Scripture even tells us obedience is better than sacrifice.
Right.
A lot of times we like to list off all the things we've done. I did this, I did that, out of entitlement, right?
Yeah.
Like I deserve to be in this place. Sometimes, bro, you just got to keep showing up.
Yeah.
You just got to be obedient, dog. Even when it don't make sense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Even when it doesn't make sense.
Even when it don't make sense,
it
man.
It doesn't serve you. It doesn't. But you know, but that always opens up other doors and other opportunities. And you know, the cool thing is too, man. You know, like I said, when you were asking about being in those other spots and how do you work the balance. The crazy thing is when you being an obedient guy, I got to put you in places where you're good at. Because I do so much stuff for my Fort Bend church. I do stuff for Pastor Wright, Remus Wright and Mia Wright over there, Fountain of Praise. You know, my boy Lamar, Alan Patterson. Why I say Lamar? Alan Patterson over at Corinth. You know, we went to Hampton together. So I got so many.
Rob done gone on the church.
I'm going on the church tour. You know, opened up comedy shows for Ali and Marcus D. Wiley and Billy Sherrill and stuff like that. So it's it's putting you in different places. Like God, he got opportunities for you. Like you ain't got to be here because even like before I got married, I was doing a remote at Harlem Nights. And after I get the minute I got married, and it allowed me to build up the war chest, to buy a house and all that kind of stuff like that. The minute I came back from vacation or from my honeymoon, they were like, "Yeah, we no longer need you for the Harlem Nights." It's like, all right, we ain't gonna even put you there no more. I ain't gonna put you there no more. Why? You don't need to be up in.
You don't need to be over there.
You don't need to be over there.
You good.
No.
You got all the Harlem Nights you need.
Yeah, you got all. Talking about no $5 Tuesday. No, sir.
Dog. Man, listen, dog. We are still saved in here, man. I'm telling you, bro. Such an inspiration. You've, like I said, bro, I've always looked up to you, and working with you, it just proved how dope you really are.
I appreciate it.
So man, how can we keep up with you, dog, before we bounce?
Oh man, everything's at Rob G the General, and it's the THE. I don't do that General. Everything is
them old heads, they don't get down with the thes and the does.
And,
you know what I'm saying?
Everything's Rob G the General. And except for I think somebody got me on TikTok, so I'm Rob G the General 1. Somebody got me on there, but everything else is Rob G the General. So you can get me on all those right there. So yeah,
It is what
your
it
wedding
is.
and all that kind of stuff, I love to do. Wedding, David can't do all of them. So
Nah, I ain't trying to do all of them either, man.
Yeah.
Man, Rob, appreciate you for coming out.
I appreciate
man,
you,
and
man.
shout out to Vin for letting us come through the Mega
What?
DJ Center.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have him come and do my crib.
Yeah,
I
dog.
might have to take a couple of items out.
I know before we leave, we might just hold on. What can we
Yeah.
snatch and
What-
grab when
what-
he ain't paying
what-
attention?
What won't he miss?
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, man, Mega DJ Center is like the staple here in the city of Houston when it comes
Around
to
the
DJ
world,
culture,
man.
bro.
Around
I'm telling
the
you.
world, around the world. I mean, like it just you don't. One of the things that I miss about the DJ game is the community that we used to have when you go to the record store. There was a community. Component,
You knew all the
Yeah,
DJs.
Yeah, or
Y'all
you be looking
mixed
at
together.
records, y'all look at the
Yeah.
records, and you pick up something. You about to go to the counter, and somebody grab your hand. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's whack. Don't even do it. Don't do it. Woo, thank you, bro. You just saved me $5.99. So
It's a different era, bro.
It's a different era. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, here at Mega DJ Center, you still got that community where guys can come together. You can hear, other DJs spin and get some ideas to bounce off of or find a way to incorporate it. So, man, it's dope that it's still here and that he's continued to do this for 17 years, man, in the game. There's an applause button on there somewhere.
Yeah, there is. We can add it on later, bro. I ain't even fooling with all the fancy stuff, bro. It's all about the stories for me.
All right.
It's all about the stories. Well, Rob, thanks again, bro. I
Yeah.
truly appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we have just broke down the breakthrough with Houston's own Rob G, the General, the OG. I appreciate you, bro. We'll see
Appreciate
y'all
you.
next week.
And that boy didn't use legend once.
I didn't. I did use OG a lot, though.
Lot.
And Unk. And old head. I did. Man, we got to go, bro.